was no waiting room when I started the meeting.
Oh,
So it said no people waiting. They'll all come in when you. So I don't think I don't.
No, I'm getting emails. Yeah, it's the same. Everyone's getting the same message of links not working. Can't.
So we've got two options, I guess. One is crack on with the webinar and do the recording and send that out to everybody, or reschedule. But obviously time, for this time next week or something. But I don't know if you guys can all make that. No, it hasn't worked. There's no one.
Annabelle's just tried and it's now working. I republished the site.
Where is she?
Okay.
Where is she? So have you started the event? Yeah.
Yeah. She's not here.
there's
Okay.
two.
Oh,
in the
Emily's
waiting room.
in.
There
So
you go.
internal people. Here we go.
Here we
Are
go.
these internals?
No, one is external.
Right.
Hi there. We've been having a few technical problems, as you might have realised.
I'm just
Who's
getting
in?
slides.
Here we go.
And it's a Tuesday, not a Monday. Technical problems normally happen on a Monday.
Hi there. Few technical issues for those just joining now. Right, so just bear with us. We're going to give everyone just 1 minute or so to join. Sorry, everyone. It's not you, it's us that we had some technical issues with the link. It's not your computers.
But I've just managed to join by copying the link into my Teams program, and then it made me register, which it hadn't asked me to do before, and then it let me straight in.
Yes, I had that
if
problem.
that's
Had to
helpful.
re-register. Yeah.
Yeah, I just rebooted and republished the site. So sorry for the delay, everybody.
Okay, well, we are recording. I know there's probably a few people that have dropped off due to the technical issue. So should we begin? And then for those that are coming can just join, and we'll send out the recording to everybody when we can. Okay, let's do that. Well, welcome everyone. Sorry for those technical issues. We are here today just to present to you this webinar called Beyond Business as Usual, Big Impact Made Simple. And we're going to be looking at how we can take an active role in the UK's biggest celebration of community, boosting employee engagement, strengthening team spirit, and driving meaningful social impact. So thank you to everybody joining. We've got a range of people on the call. Probably would have been a few more without the technical issue, but it's all good. So I'm Ellie Roper. I'm the Corporate Partnerships Account Manager for Eden Project. We've got Emily Mann on the call, who is our Research Manager, Kate Groves, Senior Marketing Manager, and then thank you so much to our guest speakers who are joining us today. We've got Ed Powell from the Co-op, who is a Community Partnership and Impact Manager, and Co-op are also our headline sponsor for this campaign, and Simon Walters from Business in the Community. We're looking forward to working with Business and Community in the future and this year, who's a Programme Manager, and Xavier Wiggins, social impact founder, activist and volunteer, and a new connection, and really looking forward to working with you. So thanks for everyone to join today and give us your time. So just a quick moment on Eden Project and sort of why we're here and what we're all about. So we really believe in the power of community to shape a positive future for people and the planet. And our work with communities really does aim to bring people together, because we all feel we're much better equipped to face the challenges when we face them together. Hence why we're all here today. We've got many businesses and charities on the call, just to come together to really think about what we can get out of working together. So we also look to encourage small acts that can have a really big impact as well, such as things like the Big Lunch. And supporting to build hope and agency. The future remains ours to make, and a lot, it'll be a much brighter and better place if we're all working together. So just a moment as well on the big lunch at a glance. So we've got 2 campaigns this year that we are bringing together. The big lunch is the Eden Project's flagship campaign. We're in the 18th year now. We had 10 million participants in 2025, all coming together to share friendship, food and fun. We'll also be providing after this session a free digital pack for anyone who's interested. And then as well, within this campaign, we had over 600,000 people volunteering their time to organise big lunches as well in 2025, and over 10 million was raised for good causes. So for community organisations and charities on the call as well, it's just something to think about. And then this year, 3rd year in a row for the big help out, but we're joining forces together to make it even bigger and better campaign. So they were engaged in 2023 and 2024. 6.5 million people or so were engaged. And really, this is about an invitation to the general public and businesses and everybody involved to just have a go and find a way that you might be able to support your local community. Really, the idea is to just bring people together, inspiring people to join in some form of volunteering, increase engagement and participation. So yeah, and I think just to bring them all together, I will just play this video now. I really hope I selected with sound, because I did initially, and then we had our technical glitch. So let's see. Good. I want to lose that little bit at the end. There we go. And I should have said earlier as well, we will be monitoring the chat. So if anyone's got any questions or comments, pop it in there and we'll get back to you. So now over to our Impact Manager, Emily. I'm just going, there you are on the screen there. Who's just going to run through some stats just to lower the tone for one slide, and then we'll bring back up the tone in the next slide. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks so much, Ellie. Yes, as Ellie mentioned, I'm Research Manager at Eden Project. And so I'm just going to summarise some of the key research on the importance of belonging, why connection really matters, and how this can be enhanced through taking part in community activities and social action. So why does connection matter? Well, human connection is so important right now. We know that there's been many societal changes since the COVID pandemic, highlighting increasing disconnection across communities. The latest data from the ONS, the Office for National Statistics, shows that 7% of UK adults feel chronic loneliness. That's feeling lonely often or always. And it's really particularly increasing amongst the young adults as well, this feeling of chronic loneliness. The ONS also collects data about indirect loneliness. This is feeling isolated or feeling left out and lacking companionship. And this is experienced by 1 in 10 adults as well. So research is showing that there's been a real decline in membership to organisations such as trade unions, churches, political parties and other community groups. And as well as the closure of many community buildings, there lacks these sort of opportunities for people to meet and bump into members of their community on a regular basis. Additionally, the rise in the cost of living impacts the ability for people to meet and socialise, and that's sort of driving that social withdrawal. And together with declining levels of trust in politicians, institutions, and the rise in long-term sick leave, it's showing that people are really feeling squeezed out of everyday life. People live increasingly on their phones, and they're becoming much more isolated from their immediate communities. Findings from the Belonging Forum's most recent Belonging Barometer highlight a growing gap between people wanting that connection but not having the opportunities to participate. So if we go and move on to the next slide, which is a bit more positive, what are those benefits of belonging and connection? Well, strong feelings of belonging and connection are associated with positive mental health, feelings of strong well-being, stronger social capital, higher job retention and job satisfaction, as well as improved resilience. By having opportunities to collaborate, take part in social action, and having that shared sense of collaboration and shared sense of purpose can really strengthen those feelings of belonging. Recent research from the public policy research agency Public First has shown that people who have volunteered or helped in their community by taking part in social action in those activities are much more likely to feel much more optimistic about their communities and about society in general. So what's the impact of volunteering and social action on employers? On the last slide that I'm going to share you, the benefit for businesses. I just want to highlight some of the recent research from RVS, the Royal Voluntary Service, that shows that the impact of volunteering for employees and their staff. The RVS conducted research in 2025, and that showed that businesses that support volunteering days see an uplift in staff wellbeing and engagement compared to those where volunteering programmes are either undelivered or underused. And the findings from this report also show that volunteering days really boost staff employee their enjoyment and retention, as well as with 92% of employees are more likely to stay with their company that actively support team volunteering, and 85% of employees report that taking part in volunteering really boosts their overall job satisfaction. So as you can see, there's some really positive impacts from taking part in social action, which helps to develop feelings of connection and belonging, and also helps to boost that staff retention and employment.
Great, thank you so much, Emily. And yeah, just for everyone on the call, if anyone's interested in any further data, we've got a lot of other data, and thank you so much for sharing that, Emily. Yeah, anything around loneliness, belonging, making friends, feeling more so like positive in your local community. Yeah, we have lots of stats to share for anyone interested. So now over to Co-op and Ed Powell. For those of you who might have missed it, Co-op are our flagship sponsor for the campaign. So over to you, Ed. Thanks so much, Emily, as well.
Thank you. Just to check you can hear me all right, because I've actually lost the slide visual, so I'm going without, so I'll just have to run through without. But thank you so much for today. The Co-op are a really proud supporter and lead partner for Big Lunch. It's a really big opportunity for us to be able to work with our members and in communities to back up our vision. And the three things I'd like to talk to you today are about brand, identity, and people. So we go on to slide 2. I hope that's worked because I can't see.
Yes, it has. I'll tell you, don't worry. Sorry if you can't see your slides.
No, that's absolutely fine. So there are two ways of really thinking about what a co-op is and identity. And actually, a lot of people will think about us as a community retailer. We've got stores in every postal area, so we've got 2,300 food stores, but we support over 8,000 stores with food in and across the UK. That means we're close to where people are and close to communities. So we're a really great touch point. But the reason it works really well for us with Big Lunch is because Big Lunch are bringing people together in place-based activity, bringing together what we can support with our business, with our reach within communities through our stores, our digital reach, but also bringing together anchor organisations to be able to support in the long term. Big Lunch is a great touch point. But it's important for us to think beyond being a retailer for us and what the Co-op is as a business and why we support Big Lunch. Because that second picture is actually of 1844 in Rochdale when we started as a consumer co-op. So with 28 members who actually came together around food justice and well-being and actually trying to address the needs of their communities. We just had statistics about how ownership and sense of pride in community is so important. And co-ops are so much bigger than being, in this case, a retailer. We are a movement of people. And as a movement of people, this co-op has 7.2 million members, and co-ops are formed for the needs of their members. Our members have told us that their top concerns are around well-being in the community. And so by working with Big Lunch, we're there to address the needs of our members. So our business is not just about food, but it's about meeting those needs. The food is a way to do that. So Big Lunch is a perfect partnership for us, where we can bring our food to the table. We can actually celebrate our brand and showcase things like our picnic range and things through Big Lunch. But more importantly to that, it's about our identity and actually helping our members to be part of their communities. We go to slide 3, please.
Oh, wait, 2 seconds. There we go. Slide 3 is up. I briefly went to slide 4. Thank you.
Fantastic. So because we are owned by our members, we actually have that same mission that we had from 1844. So 182 years later, the question is, how do we meet those needs of our members? And so we are continuously looking for partners that operate in places that can actually get closest to communities. So Big Lunch helps us to meet that need and vision. We want to build more value for our members every day. So by our members trading with us, we can help support things like Big Lunch. And then from having Big Lunch, people want to become members, and actually they trade more with us. So actually there is a commercial benefit to operating. We know that our members put about 1.5 times the spend within their basket. And by having that brand kind of awareness and identity, which links up to our vision, actually working with Big Lunch helps to drive trade, which means we can do more for communities and we can do more for our members. Our members have helped us to write our social value strategy to help to look across 3 areas, which are access to opportunity, access to sustainable futures. That's the way we kind of trade within our stores, but also actually how we help support environmental futures. But then this third piece around access to peace of mind and well-being. We know that in communities currently, there's quite a lot of divides. And Big Lunch is a really relational thing. It's a space where people can come together and focus on commonalities. So Big Lunch helps us to meet that need that our members are talking about around bringing people together, sharing. And when there is a language, there's a mutual language in food, which is absolutely fantastic. But then the opportunity to meet together, to share not only the differences people come with, but actually how they can be celebrated. Big Lunch provides us with that opportunity to drive forward on that strategy. And to bring some proof points, I'll just do 2 quick looks at slides. So if we go to slide 4, if that's okay.
Yeah, we've got your impact up.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And what you can see here is actually participants in Big Lunch in our first year supporting Big Lunch last year shows through that our members are really, really active in Big Lunch. So not only are our members telling us to support Big Lunch, but they are participating and they're seeing that brand value come through, identifying that Big Lunch genuinely supports local communities. It shows and reflects really well on the co-op in terms of making think that we are a good company that are addressing the needs of society. What I find really fascinating with Big Lunch is actually we didn't do anything particular to promote support around the environment through Big Lunch, but actually because of work we've done in the past, by showing up at Big Lunch and showing who we are as a co-op, those participants, more broadly than just our members, are seeing and remembering the environmental impact we have in the way we operate. So for us as a brand, it's a really powerful tool, both to show who we are and what we are, but it's also something which will bring new members to the table and allow us to do more activations like Big Lunch. Can we move to slide 5?
Yes, up.
Yeah, and this just shows the power and the reach of last year. So 10.5 million reach in Big Lunch, 125,000 events, 14.3 million raised for charity, and 613,000 volunteers. And I think the opportunity of Big Do joining Big Lunch and the Big Help Out together is a really great opportunity for us to build participation in communities. When we hear about membership or ownership dropping from those kind of key anchor organisations, we're actually seeing our membership grow. So we have 7.2 million members at the minute. And actually, we can build awareness of Big Lunch, but also build participation. And the Big Help Out is a fantastic build on Big Lunch. It's not just come and do and be, actually how you create simple opportunities that goes beyond the language of volunteering to create simple action and bring the opportunity to give back to community. I'll finish on the last slide, and I wanted to finish with a picture of people, and just to show you this, because this was actually one of our schools working with one of our partners, Barnardo's. So far we've raised £6.5 million for Barnardo's, and actually we want to, over the next 2 months, get that to 7 million, which is our target. But it was really fascinating last year with Big Lunch that some of our the work we do with schools, and you may not know that Co-op help to run schools, they were starting to share with each other how they could use Big Lunch to build well-being and confidence in schools. Barnardo's were there to support them to do that, and actually bring them together for simple action over food to help in their communities. And they actually then helped clear this park up, which was fantastic. We're going to continue supporting through our colleagues, through our members, through our schools and through our businesses this year, but we're also going to make sure that our members have that opportunity to be able to get involved. So we're going to use our reach into those 7.2 million members to help them to participate. I'm sure you'll hear more about the kind of web platform and talking about the ideas and kind of where things are happening. But we're also offering out 2,500 Big Lunch party packs, which include money off at the Co-op. They include recipe ideas and games and simple ways of starting activity at Big Lunches. So that's available for all our members. And if anyone here is interested in getting a pack to be able to support, please do let me know. I will hand over to Simon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ed. That's fantastic, and great to hear the many different ways that you're utilising this campaign amongst all of the great things that Co-op are doing. Thank you. Over to you. So where's Simon? Got Simon.
I am here.
Yes, great.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ellie.
And just to say, I know we're at 25 to, and I know we started 10 minutes late. So we'll carry on going at a little at speed, and not too speedy though, Simon. But I'm aware of everyone's time. So thanks, Simon.
No problem. I'll try to be as brief as possible. So business in the community, for those that are not familiar with us, with the UK's longest established responsible business network, champion sustainability, inclusion and growth that benefits both business and society. A lot more information on our website, and there'll be a link at the end in the slides. Next slide, please, Ellie. So why volunteer? As we've already heard from Emily, lots and lots of benefits to volunteering and employee volunteering in particular. I'm going to share some insights over the next few slides, but I'm not going to labour this one too much because I know Emily's already touched upon it. But essentially, employee volunteering has numerous benefits. It strengthens people, culture and communities, while business benefits at the same time. So it really is a win-win. Everybody involved in employee volunteering has a really wonderful time and takes away something wonderful at the end of the day. And I've seen it time and time again in all of the projects that I've been involved in. So some of the benefits for employees is, seeing the purpose put into action. You know, your employer often talks about values and purpose. Well, volunteering is a way to bring that to life for volunteers to go out and actually experience it and make it more memorable. We talk a lot about skills development, and one of the ways that we do that is asking for one member of staff to come and take leadership and ownership of the volunteering day. So they're going to plan, liaise, do the risk assessments, check insurances, maybe do some fundraising, and lots of other things that might not be part of their day job, where they can show they've got leadership skills and they can develop themselves, and maybe even kind of highlight themselves as potential management material for promotion in the future. Well-being, lots and lots of data around well-being and the benefits of actually getting out. A lot of volunteering that we broker involves kind of going out into nature, and as you can imagine, the benefits to well-being are well documented around that. And also, I was going to read some stats off, and my stats almost replicate Emily's. Give or take 1%, they're almost exactly the same. So I'll spare you the stats, but I can promise you that whenever we do an event, we always evaluate it. We always speak to the employee volunteers afterwards and ask them to rate their experience. And the feedback is always so positive, and they're always so keen to come back and do it again. It really does motivate them to do more. But then we've got the benefits for the community, so some real societal impact created by volunteers sharing their expertise and their resources with charities that are often under-resourced and really appreciative of the help and support. And last but not least, obviously building relationships. We've talked about that through the big lunch, but also the big help out is having people come out of the businesses, spend a day with charities, with community groups on the ground. There's no better way to build some long-lasting relationships. Next slide. So different types of volunteering. You've got skills volunteering, and that's where the onus tends to be at the moment, is for businesses to offer the skills of their staff, of their employees. One of the reasons is it's often calculated that it offers a higher social value. So there is a tendency at the moment for business to look more, how can they support community groups and charities through sharing their expertise rather than actually going out there and kind of painting fences and doing gardens for them. So some of the skills volunteering that business in the community has brokered over the years includes volunteers going into schools to do career talks, reading with primary school children, or improving numeracy of children through maths-based board games. Through volunteers working one-to-one with charities and community groups to upskill them. So the example on the screen there, Cyfoeth Ecoed, charity in Swansea, they were looking for some support to scale up. What they do, they collect surplus fruit from people's gardens and fruit trees, and then they share them with community pantries and food banks, so the food doesn't go to waste and it goes to people that need it. They were matched with a consultant from Capgemini who was able to give them some advice and guidance, and it was so helpful, and the feedback that I had from that one match was absolutely brilliant, that I actually kept in touch for some time afterwards to monitor it and see how it panned out. One thing I did learn when we were brokering a lot of skills volunteering was often the charities wanted the business volunteers to take responsibility for doing a piece of work for them. But in reality, what the businesses preferred to do was to upskill the charity, so to work one-to-one to pass the skills and knowledge on for them to do it themselves, rather than the volunteer take on a long-term commitment themselves. So that's something we learned from brokering the skills. Next slide.
Thank you.
Often practical volunteering is really popular with volunteers because if they're office-based, they like to get out, they like to get back to nature. We sometimes term this type of volunteering as team challenges, because generally there is an element of preparation and planning involved. They don't just generally rock up and volunteer for the day. They have to plan, what are the tools required? Do they need to do some fundraiser? What materials do they need to buy? What skills do they need to complete the tasks that expected them on the day? So there is a good element of challenge there. As I said earlier, somebody will usually step up, take responsibility for delegating some of the tasks and for making sure it all comes together on the day. These are brilliant experiences. They are hard work. As you can see in the picture on the screen there, these guys were restoring paths around a community park. I think it was 10 tons of hardcore and gravel that they had to move by hand because some of the machinery couldn't reach certain parts of the park. But they worked really hard. They had lots of fun, and they all found it really rewarding. They brought them closer together as a team afterwards, and they all went away later and celebrated their success afterwards as well. So typical practical challenges tend to involve improving an inside or an outside space, painting, planting, landscaping, litter picking, or even creating forest school areas tend to be quite popular. Next slide. Okay, so it's important that the business chooses the right project. There's lots and lots of ways that they might decide which project it goes for. So they might look for something that aligns the volunteering with a cause that reflects their values, or cause close to the company's heart. It might be that they want to work with a particular client group, so that could be young people, disabled people, older people, for example. Or sometimes it simply comes down to location. The business wants to volunteer where their offices are based, or where their staff live, or where their customers live. So sometimes the location trumps everything else, and they'll work with any group that's located on their doorstep. Or it could be that they reach out to their charity of the year to build stronger relationships with them. And often they'll ask their staff as well if they have a particular cause they'd like to support. So lots and lots of ways for you to pick the right challenge and the right project partner to work with. There are some there are some online services as well, Benevity, Yarcause, On Hand and Godira, which some companies use to find opportunities they can support. Next slide.
Sorry, I went too soon there. There you
No
go.
problem at all. So despite lots of companies offering staff between 1 and 5 days a year volunteering allowance, many businesses find that the staff just don't take up this opportunity. There's lots of reasons for it, but generally, unless volunteering is embedded in the business and is promoted and there's opportunities that are easily accessible for staff, then unfortunately these things just don't happen. Given COVID as well, so what's happened, we've obviously had the lockdowns. People are not in the office as often as they used to be. So again, we've seen a bit of a dip in the number of volunteers going out and completing these team challenges. So we're looking to kind of reignite the fire, get people back into the communities again. And this event on the 5th of June through the Big Help Out is ideal for you to get things going again, start speaking to your staff about if they'd like to do something positive, and then look for some community projects you can support on the day. So now's a good time to get back into old habits that were spoilt by the pandemic. Next slide.
Thank you.
So I wanted to put this slide on you because what we used to say was we were trying to avoid random acts of kindness, if you like, where a business would just kind of pluck a charity out of thin air, go and do a good deed and then disappear, not to be seen again. So we want to avoid that. And what we really, really hope to achieve is that by having these what are meant to be just one-off engagements initially do develop into longer term partnerships. And there's a reason for that. Meaningful partnerships are often more strategic with better benefits for both sides. And it does happen sometimes when a company goes out, they work with a community partner and they click and they gel on the day. There's generally a willingness to want to do more for them and to want to go back and help them with something else that they might need some support with, or then look at maybe what skills they need, help them with some marketing and so forth. So what starts off as a one-off can develop and flourish to a much better longer term partnership, which is always the hope. Next slide. So what I generally find is businesses want to lend their support. They really do. If they can say yes, they will say yes. But there are some tips for community organisations who are seeking support to get the best results. And that is to have a really clear ask of the business and try to be as flexible as possible. So regarding dates for the volunteers to come along, if you can be open and kind of flex so you can mutually agree suitable dates with the business, that's always a really good thing. Don't be ambiguous with your ask. Be really clear about the support that you need. Do you need any particular skills? How many volunteers do you need? How long do you need them for? Do you need them to supply tools and materials and anything else the business might need to know? So just spell that out for them so everybody's really clear as to what's expected. Put together a one-pager, a little introduction on there, who you are, what your charity does, who the volunteers are going to benefit by getting involved and supporting your cause. And if it's going to be a practical project, put a couple of photos on there of the area you want to develop or the area you want painted or made over. It's always nice for the volunteers to be able to see what you're looking for. And whether it's skill support or practical support, just make aware it can take businesses several weeks to get these opportunities advertised to the right channels internally. The time it makes it through all the systems and processes. So don't expect a response straight away. Be patient. If you have approached a business and they've offered to advertise it for you, it could be several weeks or even a month or two or more before you hear anything back. But do follow them up, not straight away. Give them a little bit of time. And if the project changes, keep the project profile updated and provide them with an update in the future. And last thing from me, some top tips. So if you're going to develop a partnership, which hopefully you will with the business on the day, be sure to give them a welcome talk, make them feel welcome when they come onto site in the morning. Use that opportunity to make them aware of all the wonderful work that you do. On the day, make some time to go and talk with them, go out and about, maybe work alongside and tell them a bit more about other challenges that you have, other opportunities that you could really do with help with. And finally, be sure to thank the volunteers for their time and provide them with some feedback at the end of the day. And that always goes down really well. And hopefully that'll be the start of a lovely partnership for you. Thank you, Ellie.
Thanks so much, Simon. I appreciate you cramming that in for us. And it just leads really nicely onto our next guest speaker, Xavier Wiggins. And just the fact that you're talking about small acts can lead to big changes. And I think that's very much what we're thinking about with the big help out and the big lunch. It's just starting something, trying something new. Doing just one small thing can hopefully potentially lead to a longer partnership, or doesn't have to, you know. So there's a range of different options out there. And Xavier, I'm not going to speak too long because yeah, we've got about 8 minutes or so. Thanks, Xavier. And thanks,
No worries.
Simon.
Ellie, thanks so much for having me on, and really, really nice to be here. So I'm just going to bring a few of these things together in my story. So all around community, belonging and action. I'm a football fan, very big football fan of a club called AFC Wimbledon. We're in the 3rd tier of English football. Quite unusually, we're a fan-owned club. We were building a stadium back home in Wimbledon, which was the dream, particularly for people in my generation who remember the previous time we were playing in Wimbledon 30 years ago. We were building the stadium. Late 2019, we all got called to an emergency meeting, and our board, our representatives of us as fans, as owners, were sat on the stage, and they said, "We've run out of money. We're £11 million short. The banks aren't lending. We have to lose fan ownership, and we've got 3 investors lined up." I stood up at the back of a fairly rowdy meeting and said, "That's not happening. We stay fan owned. We're going to go and raise the money." That was December 2019, and in by mid-January 2020, we'd launched a bond. We had 200 people hitting the streets, volunteers, key to everything, key to the next few years of my journey. Volunteers basically saying that this wasn't about 3 o'clock on a Saturday. This was about being a force for good in the middle of our community. And that really resonated. It resonated with football fans, but it resonated with non-Wimbledon fans and with non-football fans. And by mid-March, we'd done the biggest bond raise in the history of English football, which was £5.5 million. One of the investors who had been lined up dropped all their red lines, added another £2.5 million on top. That was the founder of ASOS, who was living in Wimbledon. That was £8 million. We borrowed the rest. We'd since repaid it. We built the stadium. And that to this day is something we're incredibly proud of now, but it was done with volunteers. We literally hit the streets, we hit tube trains, and we made that happen. Mid-March, we'd raised the money. COVID hit. I'm literally sitting there in front of the telly watching Boris Johnson telling us about COVID. And I sent a message to the 235 volunteers from the bond who were on the WhatsApp group, and I said, right, well, this has come around a bit sooner. It's time to walk the walk. We really need to do something community-wise. So what are we going to do? By the end of that day, we had a logo, we had a website, and 5 days later, we were standing outside Morrison's collecting food from shoppers. So it was me and a couple of mates that created the Don's Local Action Group, and that has grown into arguably the biggest organisation of its kind in the country. We basically stand out. Shoppers go in, they get a couple of extra things from the shop, and they pop it on the table. We take it back, and then we take it back to a hub. We package it up and we give it to people that are referred to us who are in food poverty. But we create so much food from our model that we actually supply the food banks. So we didn't know there was a rule book, but if there was, we ripped it up. We drive food to people we don't believe they should get on the bus, and spend the money to get on the bus, and then lug a week shopping back to their families. They're having a bad enough time as it is. We don't believe that what we're supplying is just food. We believe it's love, care, and dignity as well. And that's all done by volunteers. We don't believe in sticking a cage in the corner of a shop and hoping that people remember to pop something in there. We stand outside with volunteers saying please and thank you. And actually, those volunteers. And a massive lesson of this is how that helps those people. They might, you know, for a lot of them, the shifts that they do with Don's Local Action, standing outside shops or getting involved with our other things. We now do furniture, we do school uniform, we do laptops. For a lot of them, it's the only interaction they might have in a week. So there's that belonging, there's that community vibe. That's really important. Then you've got the football, and people have come from not caring about football to becoming football fans, or they've come from being football fans, having never volunteered, to volunteering. So in that time, food for 7 million meals, 4,000 laptops, thousands of items of furniture. Last year alone, 2,000 school uniforms, sports kit, all sorts of things. So I thought, as this journey was going along, I thought, well, blimey, this all started with a very small football club, right? I mean, for me, the club's massive, but for the world, it's pretty small. And then we partnered up with a local sports club, and I thought, right, well, if we can do this initially using sport and using sports fans to create something so massively impactful, I became really interested in what the rest of sport was doing. So I logged it, and I was always going to come back to the sport for good sector. And late last year, I did something a bit bonkers. So a friend of mine had an idea that somebody should walk all 92 football grounds in 92 days, which had never happened before. That was 2,000 miles, 4.4 million steps, and it was pretty mad. It was 23.5 miles every single day. I was 20 stone. I wasn't meant to be the person doing it, but then the situation evolved a little bit, and I suddenly thought, well, I've got 200 reasons not to do this, but let's do it. So I left Swansea, Simon, your neck of the woods, on the 2nd of August 2025, and I arrived back in Plymouth on the 1st of November. And it got loads of coverage, and I did it to shine a light on what sport does for good in communities. But sport for good, sport in communities, sports clubs, people volunteering at their clubs, brilliant for the volunteer, brilliant for belonging, brilliant for community. And I think we reinvented a bit of how food gets to the right people through our model as well. So yeah, I'll give you two very, very quick stories on the power of volunteering, because ultimately, you know, 14.6% of corporate volunteer days only are taken, right? So we need to get across better why it's important. A lady rang me up one day. She'd had 9 years with clinical depression. She was spending weeks on end in bed. She found some strength from somewhere. She went to the shops. On one particular day, she got chatting to our volunteers. She started volunteering. She rang me in tears, happy tears, but basically saying that it changed her life. Another guy who became a friend was homeless for 35 years on the streets of London and in the forest, which he preferred. And after 35 years, a sequence of events, he ended up volunteering, got some self-respect and some self-esteem back, and he now lives in a flat. So and there are stories like this that I could tell you from, you know, 3,500 volunteers we reached with the Don's Local Action Group. Is pretty mad. So my one big takeaway is just tell people the stories of volunteers, get them to understand why it matters, make it as visible as possible. A lot of the feedback on why low numbers of volunteer days are taken is that it's not that visible what the opportunities are, and people don't really understand it, and it's not consistent. It's not always. It's a quick in and out thing, and that's not the consistency that it probably needs. I'm a massive believer in that well-being to you by giving back, and we see that time and time again from people who have had all sorts of issues that are now on their feet again from volunteering with us. And if I ran the world, everybody would do a little bit of volunteering. So love the big lunch, love the big help out and its connection with it. Like, it's a really important thing, and yeah, together let's get that message out there.
Oh, thank you so much, Xavier, and everyone, Simon and Ed, just for sharing your stories and just expressing how much you're all doing for the community, no matter whether it's through a business, a member-owned business, or a business community, or as a volunteer as well. So, you know, there's, like you said, I think it's about the interaction between the different groups of people. That is what is so life-changing for the community as a whole. So you know, thank you for sharing those stories. And I'm just going to now just quickly introduce Kate. I know a lot of you probably have to go. Some of you might have a 1 o'clock meeting. We're going to share this recording, but very quickly, I've got a couple of slides of just about how to take part and just some simple steps for you all. Thanks, Xavier.
Thanks, Ellie. And yeah, amazing to hear all of the speakers so far. I'm just going to really quickly take you through 4 simple ways that you can get involved. And then we'll share all the links with you after the call, so you have those at your fingertips. So we've heard lots about hosting a big lunch. It's all about making connections, and Xavier and Ed both talked about food being the language that we can use. It's a language of connection, and a good way to get people through your doors wherever you are. Invite them in for some food and some conversation, and we know from 18 years of the Big Lunch that that really does work and brings people together. So we've got free packs at thebigdo.com. In the pack of resources, you've got things like invitations, a guide with ideas, posters, social graphics, conversation starters, everything that you need to organise a big lunch in your community with your suppliers, your customers and your network, whoever it is you want to engage with. And lots of things in there to help you spread the word. We've also got the Big Do map, which is going live soon, but you can add events to our map, either big lunches or big help out activities, so that people can find them when they land on our site. Next slide, please, Ellie. Yeah, so the second one, second way